Hello everyone, how are you?
Hope you're having a fantastic Friday. If you're not doing something fun, hopefully you get to here in a little bit.
That's right.
So you guys, we are going to be talking today about commitments. Is it easier to keep them with yourself or others?
What do you guys think?
If you think that it's easier to keep commitment with oh my goodness, to keep commitments with others, drop me a 1 in the comments. If you think it's easier to keep commitments to yourself, drop me a 2. Okay.
We're also going to be talking about how this will affect you and your business, right?
Yep. Yes.
So,
and we're going to give you some three bonus tips at the bottom at the end, so stay tuned for that. And if you get value, go ahead and share this. If you're catching us on replay, to give us a hashtag replay, and let's get into it. So, commitments. You guys, commitments are highly important for the effectiveness of your business.
absolutely.
Okay? Because if you don't keep your commitments, people look at you like maybe you're not the most...
You're not looked at very trustworthy, right? Reliable.
Yes.
Right? So, a lot of times we want to make sure that we keep those commitments with other people, right? Mm-hmm. Because if we don't, it makes us look untrustworthy, unreliable, right? They're not going to show up. They're not going to do this or do what they say, right? And so we make sure and we go out of our way to keep those commitments with other people.
Make sure you're at the place that you said you're going to be at the right time.
You're going to be.
Make sure that you hop on your Zoom call, that it's, all of those things. You make sure you show up. And a lot of times you kind of bend over backwards sometimes, don't you?
Exactly.
If you have ever bent over backwards to keep a commitment that you had set with somebody, drop me a 3 in the comments, because it happens all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and a lot of times the things that we think are commitments, we're thinking like the big things, like I've got this huge training call I need to be on, or, I've got this event that I need to be to, or I'm co-hosting this thing, okay, those big blocks. But really, commitments can be, the small commitments really add up to the big ones as well.
Yep.
Okay, so here's the deal.
But here's the thing. And the deal.
Here's the thing and the deal. Okay, commitments that you make with yourself are 10 times more important than the ones that you make with other people.
Because what happens, a lot of times we're keeping commitments with others, okay? And when it comes to ourselves, we tend to let things slip a little bit, right? Because it's easier to forgive ourselves for a commitment that we didn't keep with ourselves, right? It's easier when you come up against something that's going on and life throws all kinds of stuff at us. When it gets super busy, what do we tend to do? We tend to let the commitments to ourselves slide to take care of someone else or something else, right? But here's the thing, you guys. It is more important to keep the commitments to yourself than it is others. Kind
of a bold statement, don't you think? Because most of the time we think we're in business, like we need to make sure that we're keeping those commitments with other people. Right. We need to make sure we're showing up and doing all these things so that we're showing up the way that we want to in our businesses, and that we're helping our teammates, our downline, our upline, whoever it is that we're working with, okay, our colleagues, with what it is that we said that we were going to.
Right.
But what happens when you don't keep those little commitments to yourself?
Yeah.
What happens?
It chips away at your self-esteem, your self-worth, your self-confidence. If you're not filling your cup and keeping the commitments to yourself, how can you expect to keep the commitments with others, as well as if your cup's not full, you can't fill the cup of others, right?
Well, and also think about it this way too. So what happens, you lose self-confidence, okay? So if you tell yourself you're going to do something, today I'm going to wake up and I'm going to run a mile before I do whatever.
Yep.
Okay? The first time you don't do that, you justify it. Oh, I was so tired because I was up late last night. I was working, doing all these things, right? It's not a big deal.
Yep.
And then the second time you do it, it's still another...
Hey, Jamie.
Hey, Jamie. Thanks for the love, sweetie.
Thanks for hopping on.
And the next time you do it, it's the same thing. It's always an excuse. We justify it, don't we?
Yeah.
But over time, our brain is just like, well, I can't trust you. You say I'm going to do something, but then I don't actually end up doing it. So... what's the point in really taking full measure of what you're telling me to do?
Yep.
Hey, Michelle.
Thanks for hopping on.
Good to see you, sweetie. And so we wanted to talk about this because it's very important as you're moving forward in your business to realize just how impactful those little commitments that you make to yourself, whether it's
and basically,
exercise.
I mean, those commitments basically just become optional, right?
Yeah. So if everything that you do and say is optional, how much credibility do you have to yourself?
Exactly.
You don't really have much, do
And then
you?
everything just becomes optional.
Well, and think about that. If you don't have credibility to yourself and you don't have that self-confidence and belief in yourself, how does that show up outwardly?
Yeah. In your business, in your life, right?
People can sense it. You start getting into frustration because things aren't moving the way that you had hoped in your business because you're not believing in yourself that you can actually get those tasks done, because historically you have not put the effort into making sure that those tiny little things that you committed to, you said it, you verbalized it, but then you didn't follow through. Okay? So it can really have a huge drain on yourself, and that has an outward appearance.
And it brings shame and everything else in, right?
And when you're...
So I mean, the thing is when you make a promise, when you make a commitment to yourself, you need to keep it. Right?
Because if you don't learn how to take care of those commitments within yourself, it makes it a lot harder for you to move past the roadblocks that you have. You start naming and labeling things incorrectly, and it keeps you stuck in your business.
Exactly.
And so how might we be a little bit more effective in keeping commitments to ourselves?
Yeah.
What are some things that we can do? Because life gets busy. We have a ton of stuff going on. I can think of probably 3 things that I committed to do today that I didn't get done in the time frame that I had said, because life happened. I've got kids, things get crazy. But here's the thing. I know that if I don't get those commitments in today, that it is going to be harder for me to do it tomorrow. And it's going to be a snowball effect, and things are not going to run as smoothly in my business and life, because I mean, this is a life skill, not just a business skill, right? Keeping commitments to yourself.
So here's 3 tips, you guys, just to kind of help you anytime you make a commitment to kind of stick to those commitments. Okay. The first one is you need to, and we talked about this on a previous live, you need to schedule it in, right? You need to block a time of your day and commit to that time in doing those commitments, right? Okay.
And when you do that, it becomes a habit. So I was actually just listening to Atomic Habits, and one of the things that they're talking about are habit stacking. So if you want to ingrain something and you want to make sure that you get a commitment handled, you make sure that you have a specific time for it. So when my alarm goes off, first I turn off my alarm, and then I'm going to read 10 minutes in a personal development book or listen to an audio before I then get into the shower. Okay, that's a tiny little commitment to myself, saying I want to further my personal development. Sorry guys, can't talk today. And so you block it in, okay? And you make a mental commitment, and you write it down, and you speak it out loud, and that can be very powerful in ingraining that new habit that's really going to drive your business forward and get you to where you want to be in the next step. Michelle says, yes, best book ever. I agree. It's been fantastic. Jamie says, have not read Atomic Habits. It's a great one, Jamie. We have it on audio, and I listen to it at 1.25 speed. And so burning through it, and it has some fantastic points. Highly, highly, highly recommend listening to that one.
So another thing that you need to do to help you keep your commitments is make sure those commitments are specific. You need to be very specific about what that commitment is, and it needs to be actionable.
Meaning you can actually do it. Okay, it's not just something that you're thinking about in your head. You actually physically
you have to have the skills, you have to have the knowledge or whatever goes into being able to actually do that commitment. It needs to be actionable and specific.
And then you need to find somebody to keep you accountable. Okay.
Whether that's a business partner, a spouse, somebody you trust, somebody that is going to help you, that you can let them know, I've committed to this today, I'm going to get this done. Somebody that can kind of be there to kindly and gently remind you, hey, you made a commitment, you need to stick to it.
So how much easier is it, you guys, when you've got something that you're working on or trying to change or implement, when you have somebody that is an accountability partner? Like, did you get your live done today? What time are you going to go live? Awesome, I'd love to be on to support you. Okay, what time are you going to be at the gym? If 5 a.m. comes early, but I will be there, right?
I'll meet you there, right?
So you feel bad if you don't show up. Okay, and it just helps you get into that pattern where you're keeping the commitment to yourself to get healthy, or to learn and to grow, to step into that leadership, whatever that may be that you're working on. Those types of things help you really ingrain those habits, and it's going to propel you forward. So you guys, commitments, make sure you're keeping them.
To yourself specifically, okay?
Keep them.
Yeah, because if you cannot keep it to yourself, just remember, if you can't keep your commitments to yourself, how can you expect to keep commitments to others and to be able to fill their cup if you're running from an empty cup?
And also, if maybe you're focused on that and you're really great at doing that, there's going to be a point in your business when you are in massive acceleration where you're going to get to a point where you kind of running on fumes a little bit, right? You have hit a roadblock or something like that, or something is just not moving in your business. One of the things that you can kind of step back and look at is, am I making commitments to myself? And am I keeping them? And if not, try to switch it and use those 3 tips that we gave you about implementing certain things that are going to help you keep those little commitments so that you can get past that plateau and move forward. Jamie says, yep, what might I do specifically right now?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So just remember, you guys, make sure you're keeping your commitments. It is wise, it is life-giving, okay, to your business and to everything that you do. It is not selfish to keep the commitments for yourself. Okay.
Self-care is important, you guys.
Exactly.
You got to make sure you're keeping those things in line that you need to so that you can be there to serve others.
Exactly.
Okay. Have a fantastic weekend.
Thanks everybody for hopping on.
And we will catch you guys on Monday. Same time, same place. Have a great night, guys.
Take care.
See ya.